Startail player to the bottom left, looking strong in game number 1. Now we have him once again up against our Zerg. But this is
Startail Squatter.
I wanted to ask you, Shiggy doesn't actually like mean anything related to like water Pokemon, or it doesn't actually mean, there's like no relation to what that means at all, right?
Shiggy?
Yeah.
No, I don't really think. I think that the guys who translated just thought it was cute.
Okay.
And it kind of is, but yeah.
I see your feel on that. Yeah.
Top right, we have our Zerg player. He didn't name himself after Pokemon. No, he named himself after farting noises. This is
Boom Boom Prize.
We are actually not kidding, guys, by the way. This is true.
He used to always, you know, have like a pizza or a cheeseburger nearby to munch on as well. He was quite known for that. The reason I asked you about Squirtle, or, you know, Shiggy is because I couldn't think of any German word that sounded like an, every other translation of Squirtle that I've heard, you know, represents like a turtle, or he's got, he can shoot water, you know, like for example, Squirtle's like he's squirting. Okay, I get that. I was just curious. No, I just couldn't find a connection there.
No, it's basically just Shiggy. I don't know. They came up with those names. I think some things just sound stupid if you try to translate them. I'm actually happy that they didn't do it, because I always cringe when I hear some kind of translation and people try to, for example, translate jokes like word by word, and it just doesn't work in German or in any other language, and you're just listening to the joke and you don't get it, and you're like, what are they trying to pull? And then at some point you realize what it was supposed to mean, and you're like, oh my god.
That's always the moment, like, if you're watching an anime or something, the subtitles come up, then, like, this big, like, paragraph comes on the screen, and you have to, like, pause it, and you're like, what is this? And it's just an explanation of the joke. Or reference, you know, it's... Sometimes that can happen.
I have to say that in movies, usually the translation is pretty decent. Where it gets sometimes really bad are books. Some books are really... For example, I mean, we have normal build orders here, so I can go into this briefly. The translation for Song of Ice and Fire is horrible. Like 10 years ago, when I started to read it, a friend of mine bought the first book in German. I bought it in English, and I asked him, could you please borrow me a book for a couple of days? So I actually got his book, and I cross-read between my English and his German version. And it lost a lot of the flair of the story was actually lost in translation, which was pretty sad. It's still a decent book in German as well, but I enjoyed reading the English version so much more.
Yeah, you know, sometimes this can happen. I saw with John, the translator, I saw Star Wars Episode 1 with Korean subtitles, and a lot of the translations, I was reading them and I was like, that's not right at all. And as soon as the movie was over, I asked Johnny, like, oh, well, was it good for you or whatever, and he was like, yeah, but the translations were horrible, and he pointed some of them out and was like, yeah, I saw that. That didn't make any sense. Why did they say it like that?
Yeah, sometimes it's just better to watch the original if you understand the language. Basically every time.
Yeah, but he's taking the third in a weird location here, kind of up at the front. This may indicate aggression of some kind because it's faster, but
I don't think so. He's just trying to get his third up a little bit faster. We had the probe blocking the entire time for Squirtle. You saw it on screen, guys, of course. So with the probe out, he was just trying to take his third, and I really love how Squirtle is scouting here. This was brilliant. He was trying to look for the third base, but instead of just moving the probe to the right side of the map, he makes this little bit of a, how do you say that?
Detour?
This detour, this curve to the top, and then spots the hatch and moves back. So that was really, really well done.
And Squirtle's going to go for fast Twilight Council tech here. This may be for DTs. Could also be for a really fast blink push.
Yeah, it could be a +2 attack blink timing, but we don't have... I actually don't think we do. There's no +1, is there?
Yeah, no +1 at all. So he's saving that gas for something.
Yeah.
And starting to look more and more like that something that's going to be DTs.
Yeah, exactly.
That Zealot, I have never seen somebody turn around so fast. This guy actually should have, what is that event called that you run back and forth? I don't know what it's called, but...
There's the Dark Shrine.
Yeah, there it is.
So definitely saving up the gas here for the Dark Shrine instead of using it for the upgrades.
With the timing of the third here, he knows the opponent's detection may be late. It's taken a bit of a gamble though, because the Evolution Chamber could be out in time if it comes to the normal timing, even with the third base used as it is by Boom Boom. And he's going to catch the Zealot. Nice. Well, no. Poor prediction on that part.
This is something that I haven't seen in a while. We had a couple of games at home Spory Cup with the Dark Shrine, and I don't know, this could actually work very well, especially since a lot of Zerg players these days try to build the evolution chamber as late as possible and don't really use a lot of overlords. Also, the tech is very much delayed, as you can already see. There's just nothing at this point for Boom Boom that will help him. He just starts his lair, but it's way too late to get an Overseer into the picture.
And he doesn't know at all what his opponent is doing. He's got an Overlord to the right, but it was denied scouting. He's actually so low on hit points that he can't even come in for a second pass. He got the Overlord at the main, but that's not going to be able to see a Dark Shrine. So he's kind of in an uncomfortable position right now.
He's not in an uncomfortable position. He is actually completely screwed. He doesn't have an evolution chamber. He doesn't have anything. As soon as those DTs are warped in and now the Dark Shrine is ready, he is definitely going to lose at least one of his bases.
Yeah, and it's basically up to Squirtle to pick which one. It looks like he's going to go for the natural.
There's the evolution chamber. Way too late. He warps in 4. He can kill 2 bases, splits, no problem at all.
Yep, if he splits, he will be able to kill 2 hatcheries if he targets them. If he goes for drones, it would be a natural response because he probably doesn't expect there to be such a lack of detection, but he is going to kill the hatchery at the natural first.
This is the worst case scenario for Boom Boom at this point. The evolution chamber is about to finish, but there is just nothing. Hatch number 1 is already dead. Here comes the Overseer. And he's still killing units. The queens are running up here. He lost so much already. If he's careful now with the splitting.
He actually doesn't even have lings to kill the DTs with now that
he's using the queens.
He has to use the queens, but he's going to cost him some energy.
He's just moving back here. He's not even losing all of the Dark Templars. At least he's not going to lose a single one. Oh my god, this is horrible.
Now he's got Zealots to support them. He may continue the attack, going for the 3rd base now. There's nothing there. No drones, no units. Now he sends the drones back, but where's the Overseer? He needs to send it. He sends the one that's far away.
If he gets the Archons now, he has won the game. I mean, he's going to kill this anyways, but if he morphs into Archons, what is there? There is nothing.
And he kills the hatchery, and he should make Archons. There he does.
The Archons, well, they won't be dealing too much damage, but now, yeah, this game is essentially, well, coming back from this is like one of the toughest things that he can actually pull off. And Squirtle is, of course, not just taking a 3rd. He's like, well, I killed your natural, I killed your 3rd. I can do whatever I want now.
Yeah, he's a little bit vulnerable to the Ling counterattack. If it comes immediately to the 3rd, his cannons will not be up in time and he will have to cancel, and that's what's going to happen. Even with these sentries here, I'm not so sure. We'll see. If he uses good force fields, he may be able to save the Nexus. The cannon is not done. It's only halfway at this point.
+1 attack is done, though, and therefore he can use those Zealots in order to defend. 3 of them are already dead, but a nice donut here with his force fields. Really well executed. The cannons are up.
Boom Boom decided to try to fight the army and bait out the force fields instead of going for the Nexus. And even if he had gone for the Nexus, the force fields would have still possibly prevented it, but in the end, now he doesn't deny the Nexus. He loses all of his lings. He's still long distance mining. His economy right now is basically half of Squirtle's.
Boom Boom is still ahead in overall supply, but he lost 2 bases to his opponent. Squirtle was able to take a fairly good lead in economy with his 3rd base now, and of course could also just tech. So this is something that a lot of Protoss players struggle. They want to be on 3 bases, they want to do this on Daybreak, but they can't because this 3rd base is just really hard for them to take, and it's dangerous to expose it to a Zerg player who commits, for example, to a really massive Roach attack. But at this point, there's nothing that Squirtle has to worry about.
I'm really happy, by the way, that a lot of Protosses are going for this double forge now instead of the just 1. Because, yeah, it only affects the actual hit points of your units. For example, even an Immortal will get so much benefit out of this with 200 hit points, all that armor that gets used with that. It's really crucial. It's important. And in this matchup, I think it was underused until recently, and I'm just happy to see that people are saying, you know, actually with the new cost of the forge upgrades, I think I can do this. I can make this work.
It's just a matter of gas, and Squirtle on 3 bases can of course afford the double upgrades, and he has Link about to be ready. The harvester count is 67 to 66 in favor of Squirtle. Fairly even here, but the army supply is now still in favor of Boom Boom, but with the upgrades that we currently have for Squirtle, I don't think he's going to struggle too much here. He's going for much faster upgrades than his opponent, and his army composition is just great.
It's great. He's got everything set up. He's got enough sentries. He's got positions with them in his main, in his natural and in his 3rd base. And with all of this, this attack is not going to be very successful. No 4th base up for Boom Boom. He's trying to get his infestation tech, but loses a few lings here.
Run by. This is what Boom Boom is opting for now, and it's very smart. It's basically the only thing that he can do, but this is a very one-dimensional army.
Yeah, and he does not target the forge. He won't be able to get really anything here. Only takes out a cannon.
He's losing way too much. He's trying to make this happen, and he has to do some damage. He knows it. Either he has to try to take a 4th base or even a 5th, or he has to pull some kind of attack that does damage, maybe sneak into the main base. He's just trying to poke here, trying to find out if his opponent is making any mistakes and exploiting them, but Squirrel so far didn't show any weaknesses at all.
He's looking basically undefeatable right now. He's ahead up just 10 supply, but everything else that he's doing is just miles ahead. He has charged for Zealots at this point in the game. His Sentry, though, was
that's a mistake.
This is a big mistake, and now he's going to trap not only, no Lings from getting into his main base, but he traps his units out of his main base. The Lings are going to come in here and needs an additional warp in.
Yeah, there's the warp in. 3 Zealots, and here they go, starting to defend, of course, but this is the cue for Squirtle to move out. He's like, well, why do I actually bother defending against all these shenanigans? I should just move out and attack. I have the army supply. 81 against 69. He has +2/+2 done. He starts with a 3rd attack upgrade, and this attack, combined with the Warp Prism that we see in the main base, might just end things here.
This is... Yeah, he's got nothing to deal with this on the main. DTs and Zealots alike, all of them with +2. Nice position here on his units. The Overseer comes in, but he's just gonna... He's out of position now with his Lings. The Stalkers blink in. He's got a few Spines. The Immortals are going to be the big problem here. They are the damage dealers.
The Infestors, they try to dodge it. They try to prolong the inevitable, but in the end, it looks like Squirtle is just going to take this. Oh, but now with a lot of Infested Terrans, he can stop him at least for now.
Yeah, he's going to have to pull back a little bit here, wait for another round of Warp-ins, wait for his Warp Prism to come back, for example. The Pylon is going up now as well. A lot of the Spines are gone, but still 3 of them remain, and the Infestors, all of them are alive. Doesn't have any energy for Fungals, though, at this moment in time.
+3/+3 now being researched, whereas the upgrades for Boom Boom are currently 1/1. So that's definitely a problem. If Boom Boom can get enough time to get, for example, a Broodlord composition into the game, then of course he has the chance to come back into this. But even though he's on a roughly even supply with his opponent, his situation is such a bad one just because of the upgrades and this tech.
Boom Boom now he's just got to hit the perfect Fungals. He gets 1, but he doesn't really have any more energy. The Archons, he's got charge on his Zealots. +3 is not done for these units, but it doesn't look like he's going to need it.
The Infestors were the first victim in this war. They died immediately. He had no problems whatsoever taking them down, and now the Archons are leading the charge. The Immortals backing them up. GG as Boom Boom comes to terms with